Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for this video because I get to talk about my favorite fairy tale and all the things that I own that have to do with that. Yeah, let's get started. First of all, thank you to the one person who voted on the poll that I put in my community posts. I did a poll with like 4 different options, and yeah, it was like different video ideas, and one of those options was like showing a tour of like all my Beauty and the Beast stuff, like media and like memorabilia and all that. Well, mostly like my retellings. It's right over here. So yeah, thank you to the one person who voted, which I want to know, who are you? Can you identify yourself down below? I would love to know who voted on that, because even though I just got one vote, I'm like, hey, I'm glad someone interacted with my post and you made this video happen. So, yay, I would love to know who you are. So a little bit of housekeeping. Believe it or not, guys, this is the third time I am recording this video. The first time I recorded it, I did not realize that it had stopped recording, and apparently it was because my phone was at full storage capacity. Yeah, but I didn't know that because like when I finished recording, like after 40 some odd minutes, I turned the camera around and it was a black screen, and I was like, what the heck happened? Excuse me. Turned out it stopped recording. So yeah. And then, excuse me again, I was just now recording a few minutes ago. I did like up to 15 minutes, and this time I had set up like a tiny little mirror so that way I can see and make sure that my phone is still recording and like see like if anything happens. And guess what? It happened again, and that's how I realized that my phone was full. So I had to do some workarounds, and now I have enough space on my phone. I know you're probably like, Tirza, like get more iPhone storage and stuff like that. I don't have the ability to do that at the moment. So you're stuck with me, guys. I'm so sorry. And also, yeah, I do hopefully want to get a bigger, like a hard drive to keep all my footage and stuff, or like to be able to upgrade my iPhone storage or like my iCloud storage and stuff. But for right now, I'm just doing what I can on the budget that I have. You know, it's just a girl and her iPhone trying to make her mark on BookTube. So this is what you guys get. But I should be able to record without being interrupted. Please, Jesus. Please. So yeah, this is what you guys get. I was a little bit dressed up earlier the first time that I recorded. But, well, I mean, I still had this shirt on because obviously, you know, Belle. But yeah, after I realized that I didn't have any footage the first time, I was just like, yeah, forget about it. So I ended up taking a shower. My hair is more semi-dry now than it was when I did the second recording. And I do have this with my little scrunchie with like Beauty and the Beast stuff on it. And I did want to show you guys this because I'm not putting these back on. They're a little bit heavy. I have these cute rose dome earrings that my friend Rachel, she sent me the link to them, and I will put the link to these down below as well. They're so cute. Very Beauty and the Beast-esque. So thank you so much, Rachel, for sending me those, or the link to buy them. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of jump right in now that I've gotten all that housekeeping done. So we're just going to jump right in and show you my Beauty and the Beast stuff. So I'm going to do a few different sections so that way, and I'm going to leave timestamps down below so that way you guys can just, you know, see where those different sections are and everything. So let's get started. I'm going to call this first section the fairy tale section, where I'm just going to show you different adaptations of just the tale itself, as we know it, because the story of Beauty and the Beast does span back thousands of years, but the one as we know it today was written by 2 different French women in like different points of like the 17 or 1800s. So the first one can be found in this, The World's Best Fairy Tales. This is one of my favorite versions of the story, mostly because, oops, move the camera just a little bit, it's fine. But yeah, I grew up with this book. We had a copy at the library that was split into 2 volumes, and my mom got me this for my birthday one year. So we have this copy of Beauty and the Beast that was written by a lady named, oh my goodness, there it is. Yes, so her full name, oh wait, there it is. I have another copy of the story, but her full name was Gabrielle Suzanne Barbon de Villeneuve. I apologize to all the French-speaking people. I'm so sorry. But yeah, her version was copied down into the Andrew Lang collection. That's what it says. With every fairy tale you finish in this book, at the bottom of it, it'll say like who wrote it and where it's from, like what collection. So yeah, there's a illustration of a scene from the story. But yeah, I love this. Love this book so much. Thanks to my mom for getting it for my birthday one year. Of course, it's so pretty. I think my mom said that she grew up with this copy as well. But the copy that I had mostly grown up with while at the library was like the 2 volumes, and it was like a blue copy and then like it was like a teal and then like, or no, it was like an aqua, like light bluish green and then like a blue one, and they were together. But this is like the whole collection. The other one that I have is, yeah, here we go. This is the Junior Classics. This is volume 1. I'm trying to collect all of these. So far I just have volume 1 and volume 3 on my shelf, but at some point I will have the whole collection. And then this copy of the story, this version of the story, was written down by Madame Le Prince de Beaumont, I don't know, but another cool French lady. And we have some of these like metal plate pictures, or I don't know what they're called, but yeah, I think they're just like referred to as plate pictures or drawings or illustrations. But yeah, very unique drawings and illustrations of the Beast and Beauty. But yeah. And then and then I also have like this cute little kids version of Madame Beaumont's version of the story. And slightly adapted for kids, and it had like these fun, let's see. Had like these fun, like black and white drawings in it. And I mostly got it so that way I could color them in with colored pencils. I've only done like a few so far, but it's kind of fun and relaxing every now and then. And then jumping back to the version written by Gabrielle Suzanne de Villeneuve. Again, I'm sorry, French people. We have this beautiful, beautiful edition that was done, and it's like a pop-up / interactive book. It's got different like kind of interactive pieces, and yeah, it's kind of like a pop-up book sort of. Oh wow, that's cool. But yeah, I'll have to do a like a flip through of this at some point. So yeah, I'm thinking of doing it as like a YouTube short where I just, it's like the vertical video and then just me flipping through it, interacting with all the stuff. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you would like that. And then quickly finishing off the copies of just the original fairy tale, we have this, which it has all these like black and white wood carvings. I got this at an antique mall, and it's like really pretty. It's got some cool like drawings and stuff, and it's adapted. The story is adapted by a woman named Nancy Willard. And then I have, the last thing that I have, it's a board book by Disney Publishing that came out around the same time as the 2017 live action. And I just love the illustrations in here, although you can definitely see that they're very, very inspired by the artwork from Frozen, because Belle is looking a little bit like Anna from Frozen, if I do say so myself. And then it came with stickers, which, as you can see, I used almost all of them because I do love me a sticker book. Oh, my nose is so itchy. Okay. All right, so that finishes the fairy tale section. And then now we're going to get into the retellings. We're going to start off with, oh my gosh, my nose. Sorry about that. We're going to get started with the very first Beauty and the Beast retelling that I ever read, which I can't remember how old I was. I must have been like 11 or 12. No, I was more like 12 or 13. I had really just got interested in the idea. Like, I started reading so many fairy tales, and then I was just like, do people write their own versions? Like, I had no idea, but apparently they did, because and that just made me like so happy and so excited. Like, I just kind of opened up this whole new world, basically. And the very first one that I found and read was Beauty by Robin McKinley. This is like, it reads like a classic. I mean, it was published in 1978, so I feel like it kind of is in that era where we were still getting like these very literary, kind of classic feeling books that were written in kind of that way. I don't know how else to describe that, but yeah, this very much feels and reads like a classic from like the 1800s, and just in such a good way. It really takes its time telling the story, and it's just a straight up adaptation of the original fairy tale with just like kind of extra things thrown in. And also, it is no spice either, and so just, yes, that makes me so happy. But yeah, Robin McKinley, she's an excellent author. She has a bunch of other books out as well. I just haven't gotten the chance to read them. I want to, though. And she does have another Beauty and the Beast retelling that she did called The Rose Daughter. Not my favorite. I had started reading it when I was younger, when I, first read this. Started reading it, and I was just like, I don't like this. It's not really that great. And then, like, I also had found out that the way she wrote it was also, like, spoiler alert, she ended it with, like, basically being given a choice to keep the beast in his beast form, or to have him turn into a man. And like, I think she chose to keep him in his beast form. And it was like, because of like, I think the reasoning was that if he became a man, then like she and him, like, they would get to rule the land and everything. But but the way that their subjects would like look upon them or think of them was like in more of a fear type of reaction. Like, they would all like kind of be afraid of them. But if he stayed a beast, like, they wouldn't be afraid of them or something. And so she, of course, chooses to keep him a beast. I thought that was the stupidest thing ever. So you can imagine why I don't have that in my collection. So yeah, but this is perfect. 10 out of 10, 6-star read. And I also have the hardcover edition as well. I just kind of liked how classic this looked. So yeah, have those. And then I have, so moving on, my favorite modern retelling. It's cozy, it's clean, it's sweet, it is perfection. Another 10 out of 10, 6-star read, The Rose Gate by Hanna Sandvig. You've heard me talk about this on this channel before. We stan Hanna Sandvig in this household. I've done 2 reading videos on this, so if you haven't seen that, go check that out after this video. I will post links to those down below. I'm going to be posting a lot of links in this video, so be prepared. But yeah, I have 2 different excerpt reading videos of this because it's just that good. I remember the very first time I read this, I read it in a day. Literally, it took me one day to read it because it was so good. I also have the hardcover, and I just love Hanna because she is like such an artist. she draws and like she does the art for all of her books. Like she does she draws them digitally, and just she is such a hard worker. Like she is one of the most hardworking and talented authors I have ever seen, and I've even gotten to interact and meet with her as well over like video chat and stuff. Because I'm a member of her Patreon, and I remember I got to be a part of one of her like live on Zoom parties one time, and it was so cool to actually get to talk to her face to face. And I've had many interactions with her on like Instagram and stuff. She's just such an amazing woman, and a mom and like wife, and just she's amazing. I love her. And she's written many other fairy tale retellings and romances. This is just the first book in the series, and eventually I'll do a video on her at some point. And I will also leave a link to her Instagram and her website and her Patreon down below as well, which her Patreon, I think she has like a free section or like a free trial, and then like the smallest paid tier on her Patreon is like $1. And yeah. Yeah, no notes. So the next retelling that I have is Belle by Cameron Doki. This is a part of the Simon & Schuster Once Upon a Time series. It's like a series of 19 books written by all these different authors, and that they like contributed to the series. And each one is like a retelling, of like a different fairy tale. And this was the very first one that I read because I got my hands on this book shortly after I read Beauty, because I was just like, oh, what other retellings are out there? And I got super obsessed with trying to find these books. Actually, just recently, like last year, I started like a over 6 month journey of trying to track down and buy all of these books, and also trying to buy them in these specific covers, because for a while this was the only one that I owned. But yeah, to be honest, I don't really have much to say about this book. It's just an okay read for me. It's like a 6-7 out of 10 for me. Mostly because it's like for the first like 3/4 of it, it's just kind of about Belle and like her backstory and like her struggles of like whether or not she feels beautiful, and like, you know, like especially like standing next to her sisters, because her sisters are like these absolute beauties, and like they have these special stories of like the day that they were born, and like how their mother like came up with their names. But with Belle, it's just like she was born on an average day, on an unremarkable day and time of the year. And her mother, like, although inspired, like super inspired for the names for her first two daughters, she just could not think of anything to like what to name Belle, because she, you know, and it wasn't that her parents didn't love her. It was just like it just wasn't very remarkable, like the way she was born. And so it was a very interesting twist to the tale, I guess. And also, instead of a rose in the story, it's the heartwood tree. And Belle and her father are like wood carvers. And there's like this really cool lore surrounding the heartwood tree. So yeah, I feel like it's kind of a good backstory for Belle, basically, but nothing much else, because 3/4 of it really is like about Belle and her family, like her thoughts and feelings on whether or not she's beautiful, and then like her family having to move to the country because they lose all their money, stuff like that. And then like the last fourth of the book, basically the last 5 chapters, 5, is when the plot actually gets going. And she goes to like the Beast's house, and like they meet and fall in love and all the stuff. So yeah, I definitely would say like give it a read. It's definitely another one that I will reread. So, you know, yeah, it's like good, not great. You know, it's good, but not as remarkable as you would expect. And then next up we have Beauty's Rose by Shauna Slayton. She also has kind of a series of fairy tale retellings. And this one was really good. And I think she kind of bases them in different time periods. This one takes place in the 80s. Got all the 80s vibes. It's got like the Walkman. It's got like somebody getting a perm. It just, all the 80s vibes. Like, I was just like, yes! Like, just, like, all the 80s vibes. Are they a little bit cliche and maybe stereotypical of that time period? Maybe. But I don't care. Because it's the 80s. It's the 80s, man. I love it. It's just, it's so, so good. And I really enjoyed this one. I definitely wouldn't put it on the same pedestal as like the Rosegate or Beauty, but this was still a solid read. This one's like an 8 to an 8.5 out of 10 for me. So like that's still a solid like 4-star read for me. So I highly recommend this. I'm really hoping to get her Little Mermaid retelling. I think it's called The Little Mermaid's Voice, and that takes place in 1912 on board the RMS Titanic. So you know I'm gonna want to read that. So yeah, highly recommend this. Yes. Okay. We're almost at the bottom. So I think before I get to the ones that I haven't read before, or the one, like, I have a couple that I haven't read, and then I have a couple that I'm just like, I just have these, or like it's, kind of unremarkable. So, yes, okay. Seeing Beauty. This one I just got in the mail, which my most recent video that I have is my unboxing video for when I got this in the mail, because I bought this because it's a limited run of the paperback copies. It's signed. I forgot to mention that in my unboxing video. And it's by Eliza Prokopovits. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I am. I'm going to link to her Instagram and her website. I haven't actually read any of her books before, but I do have a couple of them on my Kindle. And then obviously I have this one. I kind of just took a chance on her because I know that she writes clean fairy tale retellings, and this one was just looked so sweet. It's very short. It's about 150 pages, but I'm excited about it, and it's kind of got like a new interesting twist to it. She's also releasing it for free as an ebook, so definitely go and check that out, even if you're not able to get these copies anymore. And I've read up to chapter 4, and it's pretty good so far. It's really well written. So yeah, I think that, so I got that, and then now we're moving on to a couple of other retellings that I have. I have the novelization of the 2017 movie. Nothing too remarkable about it, just sweet little, little book. I love collecting movie retellings, or not movie retellings, novelizations. And then, let's see. Okay, let's do this one first, because the last one I have a little bit to say about it. We have Spirited by, Nancy Holder. This is also a part of the Simon & Schuster, the Once Upon a Time series. This one is a little bit, I think this one comes sometime before Belle. I can't remember, you don't really have to read them in order, but in order, I'm wanting to read them in order of publishing. But yeah, this one's interesting because it is not just a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, but it's also a retelling of The Last of the Mohicans. So it's like a mix of those two. And so if you know the story Last of the Mohicans, or if you've seen the Daniel Day-Lewis film, from what I understand, I think it follows the same thing. I haven't read this just yet, but it basically follows the same thing. And the Belle character in it, Isabel, she basically agrees to go and live with this Native American warrior who I think wants to kill her father, but she bravely kind of stands up to him, and she's, she convinces him to spare her father's life, and she goes with him, and they fall in love, I think. It's kind of how it goes. But be an interesting retelling because it takes place in, you know, the New World in America in its early history. So that'll be interesting. And then finally, this one is, I have some things, interesting things to say about this one, but here we go. This is The Beast's Heart by Leif Shallcross. This one I really enjoyed up until like the last couple of chapters. And here's why. I have some things to say. First of all, it's from the Beast's point of view, which I love because I feel like there's rarely any books by his point of view. I think like the only one that's like well known to a certain degree is the book Beastly, which was made into a film with Vanessa Hudgens. Very interesting if you happen to remember that movie. And I liked that book okay, but I don't have it in my collection because it was just eh. So this one is like based kind of in that fairy tale time period. It's very much a retelling of, you know, it stays very close to the original fairy tale, but obviously we get to hear it from the Beast's voice, which I thought was very fascinating, but I did not like the Belle character in it. I think her name is Isabeau in this, and I did not like her. Just, yeah, I didn't like her, and then I also didn't like the ending. I remember like eating this book up so much, and then I remember when I was down to like the last few chapters, I just kind of like locked myself away in my room, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna finish this. I was so excited, and then there was a fade to black scene in it, which if you're a part of the book community and you know all the terms for like stuff that has to do with spice, like closed door, open door, fade to black, all of that, I am not a fan of any of that. I just like my books clean. Like, we don't need all that extra stuff to have a good story. We don't. We really don't. And this one just kind of, I felt, came out of nowhere. And honestly, it broke my heart when the scene happened. Like, it wasn't like graphic or like too detailed. It was done in a way that was like very vague, but like you still know what happened, but it was super vague. Like there was like no description whatsoever. If it was detailed or there was like more description, I would have dropped this book in a heartbeat. Like, would not be in my house, basically. But yeah, it really broke my heart. And also it made me hate the Belle character more because she's kind of the one who instigates that moment. And I was just like, really? Really, ma'am? Really? So yeah, it was just, I did not like it. And it broke my heart that like, it really hit me hard. I was just like, why? Why? Like, we didn't know. Like, it was so good. Like, it was just, yeah. And you're probably wondering, why did I keep it? Because I did love everything up to that point. And I loved having the unique voice of the Beast because it was just so well done from his point of view. And so I kind of do want to keep it, if only to like, you know, be able to go back and like look at like how she wrote the Beast's voice. I loved it. I loved how that was done. The last part, I don't. Because if I read it again, I probably will just skip past that moment. Even though it was like a couple of sentences, I'm just like, yeah, no. Okay. Anyway. But that is my opinion. Obviously, if you're someone who's just like, oh, there's nothing wrong with spice, just keep that opinion to yourself because it's not worth it to leave it in the comments here. It really is not. So anyway, that's all my retellings. Now we're on to the next section that I like to call the tie-ins. Yes, I'm going to do that first. There was another thing that I was going to do, but we're just going to do the tie-ins and spinoffs first. So I have all these different fun magazines. This is a Beauty and the Beast. Like, this is like from the movie, so it's got like stills and stuff for the movie. It has like behind the scenes moments. And then oh yeah, something that I forgot to mention because I did this the first time that I filmed this review, or not review, but like this tour, is I have replicas of Belle's jewelry. Make sure I'm showing this. her ring and then her necklace, which I made the necklace that she wears in her blue, with her blue dress. And then this ring, I actually have like the Hot Topic exclusive of that. Which, if you're wondering, like, where did that ring come from? I never saw that in the movie. It's because it's only shown in like one scene, and that's it. Or like, there's only a couple of scenes that you can see it in, but like, you have to be really looking. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then I have the Hot Topic replica of this necklace. It's not as pretty as that, but you know, it is what it is. And then I have this fun like Life magazine special that was done. It has stuff about like the new movie, well, new at the time. But yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but yeah, it just has like some fun stuff about different fairy tales in it as well. And then I have this fun, like, I'm saying fun a lot, but it's a like just kind of like a coloring book. Ow. Like a fun like coloring book kind of thing, and you know, stuff like that. And then other movie tie-in stuff I have is this one. It's Belle's story. It's written kind of like a journal that Belle has. It has pictures from, oh gosh, has pictures from the film in it, and it has like these fun little, well, that's cool, fun little interactive things in it and stuff. It's meant to be like Belle drew these herself, which is kind of cool. And it's like from her POV, so it's like what would she have written in the journal when she was at the Beast Castle. Oh man, thought I had a piece of dust in my mouth. And then I have this. This is Belle's Library, which I love. This little book. It comes with a little bookmark, and it's like, again, kind of written from Belle's POV, and it's like meant to be like different notes and stuff that she has. So it'll have like quotes from different books that she would have read, and then off to the side, it's like things that she, like little notes that she's writing. That's like her thoughts on that quote or that book. And then the last thing that I have that's like a movie tie-in / spinoff is Lost in a Book by Jennifer Donnelly. And this was released also in tandem with the 2017 film. And it's meant to be like, what is it called? A midquel, where basically, like, it's kind of in the middle of the story, similar to the Beauty and the Beast Enchanted Christmas. If you've ever seen that, you're the real one. So it's kind of like that, but it's not about Christmas. It takes place immediately after the Beast gives Belle his library, and it's kind of like all this stuff that happens between like that point and then like another point in the story. And basically the blurb on the back says, hidden in the Beast's library, Belle is about to discover a mysterious book and visit a glittering new world. But everything is not as it seems. When the time comes, will Belle be able to find her way back home, or will the story take hold of her and never let her go? This is actually a pretty good story, even though it is kind of like a tie-in novel. The best way I know how to describe like this story to maybe convince you to read it is like, it's like Coraline meets Beauty and the Beast, sort of. And also like sort of a Greek mythology type scenario, I guess. So basically the story is like, we have these two fairies, or fates, I guess. And it's, yes, that's right. These two ancient sisters, or fates, known as Love and Death. And they're kind of making, in like the Greek sense, this God's bargain type of thing, where they're bargaining and playing with the lives of mortals, which I don't like stories like that really, usually, because I'm just like, can you just leave us alone, please? Which, I mean, that's also why I'm glad I'm a Christian, because, oh boy, if any of the Greek gods were real, I'm just, oh man, I don't know what I'd do. So glad like, it's stories like that made me so glad I'm a Christian, because I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank you, Jesus. But this was still an interesting story. And so obviously Love wants Belle to be able to win. And obviously, like, to break the spell on the beast, but Death doesn't want that because she wants to win. And I don't like her. And she's very similar to, like, the other mother from Coraline, because basically she puts this magical book in the Beast library that Belle finds, and it allows her to travel to this other world similar to Coraline. And at first everything's cool and fun and pretty, and it's like an escape from her life at the castle, because even though the Beast saved her life from the wolves, things are still a little rocky between them. They haven't quite fallen in love, and she kind of gets caught up in the fantasy. It shows you, kind of similar to the book Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. It kind of shows you, like, maybe don't get too caught up in books. Maybe don't get too lost in a book. There you go. But it was really cool. It was a really fun story. I liked how it was told. And, like, I feel like it's a story that could really stand on its own. Like, if it, like, I feel like it's kind of like a piece of fan fiction almost that, like, could be edited in a way where it could just stand on its own. So, yeah. Anyway, go check this out. Also, I remember how and where I bought this book so vividly, too. Who remembers Book Depository? I want to know. Do you remember? Do you? I want to know. Because I was really sad when I found out that they were no longer in business. Okay, guys, we are in the home stretch. I am now going to show you my Kindle books, because I have a lot of books on here. So, yeah, waking it up. So I have a collection in here of different Beauty and the Beast retellings that are on here that I only have digitally. So something that I meant to say about Eliza Prokopovits. I'm so sorry. So she is a part of, like, a community of clean romance, fairy tale retelling authors, basically. And every now and then she and, like, all these different authors, including Hanna Sandvig, will offer up some of their books for free to download, or, like, for free or heavily discounted to just, like, stuff your Kindle, basically. And I have a lot of books from these different clean fairy tale authors simply because of that. And so I have a couple of books from her. So you guys can kind of see on here. First of all, I have Once Upon a Rose by Gabrielle Landi. I am so disappointed. Well, sort of disappointed myself. Well, I'm mostly just, like, kind of sad that I don't have the physical copy of Once Upon a Rose yet, because I was a beta reader for it, and obviously that's why I have the Kindle version right now. But I'm hoping to get a physical copy, because Gabrielle Landi, again, I'm gonna link her stuff down below, because she is so good. I loved her retelling of Snow White, which is called Once Upon an Apple. And then I got to be an ARC reader for Once Upon a Rose, which is so dang good. I feel like that book is also, like, up at the top right next to Beauty and the Rose Gate. Like, it's that good. So I have that. You guys can kind of see that. I have The Beast's Magician, which is the second option next to Once Upon a Rose, and that is also by Miss Eliza P. I'm just going to say, instead of saying her full last name. So The Beast Magician is another retelling of Beauty and the Beast that she did, and which I'm glad that she's doing more than one. That's cool. I have, like, this is my collection of different Beauty and the Beast retellings that I've gotten for free. Which, if you want to kind of, like, pause and, like, see which ones I have. And yes, I have a Kindle edition or Kindle copy of The Rose Gate, because why don't you? I can never have too many copies. So yeah, that's all for, like, the Kindle editions. All right, I have 2 more segments to go. Bear with me, everyone. Bear with me. We're almost there. Almost there from The Princess and the Frog starts playing. Just kidding. I'm not going to edit that in here. But next is the last bit of Beauty and the Beast media that I have, and it is DVDs. So here we go. Gonna start off with the Disney ones. Obviously, we have the 1991 and animated classic, and then the 2017 live action. Of course, I had to. And then I have this French, it was made by like a French studio, which, I mean, it was really good. Like, France, honestly, I'm just like, you know what, we've been sleeping on France a little bit, and like other like countries and their, you know, studios and stuff. So yeah, this is from a French studio. Really well done. I loved like all the costumes in it, and this is very much dubbed. If you look at their lips, you can kind of tell. I think the only two people in the movie that were actually good at dubbing their own voices are the two main actors, because they've been in some like English stuff as well, I believe. So they're actually not bad at speaking English. The other people like are very obviously dubbed. But yeah, also a fun little tidbit that I like to share whenever I can is that the girl who plays Belle, I'm not going to say her name because I don't know how to pronounce it and I don't want to butcher it. She was in the fourth Mission Impossible movie, and she played this evil spy lady. So yeah, if you watch Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol, you'll see Belle from this version. And yeah, she was pretty good in that film too. She was just evil, and I wanted her to die the whole time, basically, because she was so evil. But anyway, next I have this, it's like a 2-in-1 fairy tale adaptation. These are from the 80s, from the Canon Group Incorporated, like, movie company or whatever. They made a bunch of different fairy tale adaptations back in like the 80s and 90s. And I have this one with Rebecca De Mornay, which, if you recognize that voice, or not voice, if you recognize that name, she's from Risky Business. I think that's probably like the most popular thing that she was in. I have not watched that movie. I just know that she's in it. And she's also in a couple of other things. But she plays Beauty in this. And then it was actually pretty good. Like, it's kind of cheesy. Like, I don't take it too seriously. I just, you know, I'm like, I'm going to laugh at the cheesiness. But also, it's kind of heartwarming as well. And it's actually, you know, some of the songs are pretty good in it. If You See With Your Heart is a banger of a song. So, you know, I highly recommend. Also, if any of these movies, well, obviously not the Disney ones, but I think like the French Beauty and the Beast and then this one, I believe, are for free on YouTube. I'm gonna do my research, and I'm gonna put in the comments, not in the comments, I'm gonna put in the description, like, either a link to watch it or like where you can watch it, so that way, you know, you can watch these for yourself. And then, speaking of a banger soundtrack, I have no shame. I love VeggieTales. Okay, this one did not come out while I was a kid. It was like much later in my life. I think I was like in my late teens when I found this, but excuse me. It's pretty darn good. Kelly Pickler is the voice of Mirabelle in this, and the songs are just, they slap. They slap so hard. Every song in this was so dang good. But yeah, Beauty and the Beat, because, get it, he's a mean, nasty old beat. He needs a heart change. But yeah, this one's the only one that's like not a romance, but it was still really sweet and fun. And it's just, VeggieTales, they rarely give us a dud. They rarely do. And when they do, they never do. You know what I mean? And the last one, this one does not have a proper case. I just put this little card in here. But this one does not have a proper case because I bought this from a website called Sunshine Vintage something. What was it called? Sunshine Vintage Movies. And they kind of helps, like, put, like, older classic films onto DVDs. So like the DVD is not really that pretty. It just says like what the movie is on it. But I'm so glad I got a hold of this. You can watch this movie on YouTube. I'm going to link it down below. It is a Hallmark movie from 1976. Obviously, it's just called Beauty and the Beast, and it stars George C. Scott and his wife, Trish Van Devere. And let me just say right now, it is really good. Like, definitely there's some cheesy moments, but it was really good. I mean, these two actors, first of all, their on-screen chemistry because they were husband and wife. And secondly, just the pedigree of acting that these two had, just, they're really good classically trained actors. And I know maybe not a lot of like the younger crowd will know who George C. Scott is, but he, big star back in the day. He, very close to like a lot of the other older stars, and like, you know, he was kind of a part of like that old Hollywood crowd in the golden age, basically, him and his wife. And I believe he also won an Oscar. But yeah, all I'm gonna say is just it's a really fire retelling, and I have kind of a slight conspiracy theory about it, that since it was released in 1976, and then Beauty by Robin McKinley was published only 2 years later, I think that she was influenced by this movie. Now, I haven't found anything to prove that, but after watching this movie and then reading that book, I'm like, I'm squinting, you know? Like, the stories are not exactly the same, and obviously I know that they're both Beauty and the Beast retelling, so it's like, well, of course they're going to be similar. But there's just some, like, story points that happen in the movie that are very similar in the book that I'm just like, okay, you were inspired. You were inspired. Like, it wasn't, like, plagiarized directly or anything, but there was some moments that I was like, oh, this is similar to Beauty. This is very similar. But anyway, all right, so that is all on the movie side of things. And now I'm going to show you guys the last segment of this video that I like to call the Beauty and the Beast adjacent stories. So let me pick these up really quick. So what I mean by Beauty and the Beast adjacent is that they are not directly marketed as Beauty and the Beast retellings, but they've definitely got the vibes. They definitely got the vibes and a lot of the same ingredients, but like, you know, it's one where I'm like, I'm squinting. I'm like, So first up we have North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. This is a classic novel. Takes place in kind of like, not really the Regency era, but it's kind of more industrial. If you've seen the BBC adaptation with Richard Armitage, it's, oh my god, it's so good. I have yet to read the book, but the adaptation on BBC is so good. A lot of Beauty and the Beast vibes, I will have to say. Because we have like this young girl who like moves to a different town with her family, and she meets a very gruff and surly man who's also very handsome, but he needs to learn a little thing or two about kindness, and that's all I'm saying. Same thing with our next one, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Have not read this yet, but it's got a lot of the Beauty and the Beast vibes. This one is actually one where I have read in some different articles that it's very similar to Beauty and the Beast, which if you've seen like a lot of the movies or plays or whatever other adaptations of this story, or like the miniseries on like BBC or whatever, you'll know that it's very, very heavily close to Beauty and the Beast, because obviously we have this young woman who goes to this big estate in the heart of the English countryside, and there's this very surly, beastly man who needs to learn a thing or two about kindness and redemption. So very much. Yeah, Mr. Rochester is very much like the Beast. And then our second to last is As Sure as the Dawn by Francine Rivers. This is the third book in the Mark of the Lion series. And it's kind of a standalone because you can just read the first two and not have to read this. But this one kind of helps close the story on this gladiator character from the first book, A Voice in the Wind. And he's like a warrior from Germania. That's right. And he was like, forced into slavery to be a gladiator. And along the way, he meets one of the main characters from the first book in the series, and they kind of become lovers, as Michael Scott would say. And she has his child, but of course she is a terrible, terrible person. She tries to have her baby killed, literally has him, like, sends him away to have him abandoned. But thankfully the person who takes the baby away is a good and kind person who's like, I'm gonna give this baby up for adoption so that way he doesn't die. And so thankfully the gladiator finds out where his baby is. He's able to get him back, but the woman who adopted him is very much attached to the baby, and the baby is very bonded to her, and he's also like hasn't been weaned yet, so he has to be with her or else he will die, because she's like the one breastfeeding him and everything. And so like obviously this baby will die if he doesn't get fed and like get that motherly affection that he needs. And so it's very much a Beauty and the Beast type story, because we have this surly and grumpy and like kind of anger management issue type of guy. And like this kind woman who is a part of like the early church back in like the Roman times. So yeah, which that's where it takes place, is Rome, basically. So yeah, very Beauty and the Beast adjacent. And then last but not least, we have The Raven Saint by M.L. or Mary Lou Tyndale. This is the last book in the Charlestown Belle series, and I recently read this whole trilogy. There's a fourth book that she kind of published several years after this came out, but I have yet to read that. But this book, last of the series, it's about the last of the sisters. Oh, excuse me. And it's very Beauty and the Beast. A lot of the vibes. It's not directly marketed as that, but it is very similar, because it's about the last sister and how she is kidnapped by a French mercenary who is supposed to sell her to some dude in Colombia in order to like make this fortune. And the guy who kidnaps her is very swarthy, very French, very handsome, and yeah, it's just very, very much a Beauty and the Beast kind of similar story. And I really, really liked it. Also, this is one of the older covers, or this is the old original first edition cover. I'm hoping to buy the newer covers of all the books, because the newer covers are just cooler looking. And if you've seen maybe just like look this up on Goodreads and like go down to where it says like other editions, because the newer edition of this, like the newer cover, whew, much, much prettier, much, much better than this. But yeah, so anyway, that's my Beauty and the Beast adjacent books that I have. And now we are at the end. Thank God I was able to film this whole thing and not have anything happen. Also, if my eyeline is not meeting you, it's because I keep checking the tiny little mirror that I have set up to make sure that my phone is still recording. Guys, this is a very long video. This is almost an hour, so like, thank you so much if you've watched to this point. First of all, I'm so sorry. I tend to ramble, and this was a heavy, long video anyway. I knew it was going to be, so so thank you so much. I'm going to end it by just giving a couple of little points, and then I'm going to let you go. First of all, oh, my nose. I'm going to get up a new poll soon on my community post tab on my YouTube channel, if you just go to look at my channel directly. So maybe make sure you're subscribed, or, ring the bell for notifications so that way you can see that and you can vote in my next poll to vote on like what video I should do next. I would love to see all of that. I have a few different ideas. I think I will do all the ideas that are going to be in the polls eventually, but I just want to see which one you guys want to watch this like soonest. So yeah, I hope that I can't wait to see like the votes on that. Again, I'm going to have timestamps down below for all the different segments that I did, and then hopefully links to the different movies and stuff, and then also like links to the different authors and all their stuff. So like all of that good stuff is going to be down below, including links for my like Instagram and TikTok and everything. And then also for the earrings. So yeah, all the things. Be sure to comment what was your favorite part of the video, or like, what books would you like to read, all the things. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and for watching until this point. I know this is a very, very long video, and I appreciate it. Just having like 21 subscribers just feels so unreal. It's such a small number to a lot of people, but well, especially people here on YouTube, but it makes me so happy. So yeah, without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a blessed day. God bless, all the things, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.